Today, I am really excited to show you an interview that I did with my daughter, Julia, as she shares her story of recovering from a very, very severe concussion that left her quite a while, feeling like there was no hope for her future. And it's a wonderful video with Julia, so please enjoy.
I we were playing this game called Cage Ball, and it was starting to get like a little intense, and like some of the guys were getting really frustrated with each other. And then unfortunately, I was guarding the goal, and so I was just playing the game, and this one boy who's like bigger than me, like body checked me super hard, and I fell to the gym floor. And I remember like falling and like coming back up, and my head just like snapped, and then hitting it again a second time, and then maybe like a third time, like less. And I remember lying there, and I remember wanting to fall asleep, and I remember thinking, I can't fall asleep, I can't fall asleep, I can't fall asleep. And somehow I was able to get up, but it was crazy. Like the whole gym was silent, everyone was just staring, just shocked at what they'd witnessed, and the guy felt really bad. And I went to go see like the nurse. And I was like okay the first few hours, but then it started to show itself. When I got home, like I was starting to have really bad headaches, my pupils weren't dilating properly. Yeah, they wouldn't dilate for like a solid month. And so I was really sensitive to light. I was very sensitive to sound. I remember like I went to school and I was wearing sunglasses. I remember kids looking at me and I was like, I promise I wasn't drinking the night before. Uh, and just, yeah, and it just like progressively got worse. Like I always had a hard time concentrating with my ADHD, but because I loved what I learned and I loved school, it was easy for me to just like hyper focus on stuff and just like be there. But after I hit my head, I had a hard time remembering stuff for tests. I did enjoy being there. Like it was very overwhelming. Like the cafeteria was super crowded. I'd go to like a different part of the school to eat my lunch. And I just didn't want to be around people as much. Like I just was so overwhelmed by everything. And so I kind of, yeah. And it like progressively got worse like my senior year of high school. I honestly don't know how I graduated. I like held on for dear life, and I think after I graduated I just collapsed and my body was like not good. I would have nightmares every night, and then I would sleep during the day to compensate for not sleeping at night, and it was just really bright, and I'd always have the lights off, like, or I'd have like a gentle light, you know, because the main lights were just so big or so bright.
How about emotionally? Depression.
Emotionally, during that time, I really was depressed. I felt like I couldn't keep up with my peers, and I couldn't keep up, right? I had a head injury. And so it was really hard watching them like move on with their life, and I was not moving on with my life for that year, and I felt really behind. And I remember getting to a place where I was like, oh, I'll never get married, I'll never go to school, I'll never like go on a sabbatical. Like I just was like, I'm never gonna have these opportunities because it just felt so impossible, and just trying to exist day to day was just so much work. Like on Sundays I would just go for like the first hour and then I would leave. Yeah, it was rough. I was like suicidal at one point. That was no good. I remember that. I remember getting to that point and being like, okay, I need to tell my mom. But I wasn't suicidal because I didn't want to live or I felt worthless. I just was so overwhelmed by everything. I just wanted to stop. I just wanted a break, really. Like I wasn't like, I didn't hate life and I didn't hate myself. I didn't feel like no one loved me. But I mean, I had those moments where I definitely felt that way. But I just wanted everything to just stop, and I just wanted a break. And so when I was getting to that point, I told my mom about it. So
Excellent. And we tried a few things, didn't we?
yeah, I know we tried like eating healthier and going for walks in the evenings. I honestly don't remember a lot. I really just remember being in my bed. I'm really sorry. I can't like answer that super well. I remember that year just being a blur, and I just was like in this like pit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So what happened when we put you on the daily essential nutrients? What differences did you start noticing, and maybe when?
Yeah. Okay. So when I first started the daily essential nutrients, it was night and day. Literally within a few hours I took it, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. And at first I thought maybe it's a placebo effect, because you know, when you start doing something that theoretically should help you feel better, but like that stayed. Like my emotional well-being, it like balanced out and I felt good. And I was like not feeling depressed. I was not feeling suicidal. I was not like hung up on life. And I was like, oh, I was starting to feel like myself again. I was starting to feel happy. I was starting to feel creative. I was starting to want to like play musical instruments again and paint. And that was like within the day. And then like that week, I was like, I couldn't even remember how I felt those months previous to like feeling so overwhelmed. And then like it took time, of course, and I had to like build up my what's the word? I had to build up my like my tolerance again to being around lots of people because I hadn't been for so long, and that in and of itself is just separate from everything, right? But yeah, I just wow, within the week it was like night and day, and I was like I knew myself again. You know, I wasn't like this like shell of a human being just like holding on for dear life, hoping it'll get better somehow, and feeling like I had to like buckets, sorry. I didn't feel like I was living on my own willpower. Like it was like someone had given me, if I was carrying heavy weights or if I was like running or something, it's like someone gave me a really nice pair of shoes and like lifted those weights, and I was like, oh, this is so much easier. Oh, why was this difficult? I don't know. That wasn't a good analogy, but.
So how did your life change after being on the Daily Essential Nutrients? What things did you do different? School?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think after like a few weeks of being on the Daily Essential Nutrients, I was like, I want to go to college. I was so happy. I was like, I want to go to college. And I felt like I could do it, you know? Like it wasn't just like, I want to catch up with everybody else, but it was like, no, I have the capacity to like go and learn again. Yeah, I was happier. I was making friends. I was more like socially active. My memory was better. And yeah, I don't know what else.
You went on a mission?
Oh yeah. I served, well, this is going to go to lots of people who are not members, right?
Mm.
So I'm going to explain it to people who are not members.
Yeah.
Okay. It's always been a dream of mine to do like a religious sabbatical for 18 months. And I was able to do it. And it's a lot of hard work. You know, those are long days where you're like constantly on your feet, on the go, serving, meeting new people. And there was no way I could have done that if I was not on the Daily Essential Nutrients. That totally kept me going because it's very rigorous and it's very difficult and it can be emotionally draining. And you serve, right? And you're serving with so much love. And I had the capacity to do that. And it was amazing.
How did it feel being able to travel to Europe and New Zealand? Because at one point you thought that you would never leave Idaho.
Yeah, Utah. Yeah, when I got back from my sabbatical, I like jumped right back into going to university and into my major. And while I was there, I was like, oh, I want to have goals and I want to do things before I graduate because university is a great time to learn and to experience the world in like a safe way, you know, where you have instructors helping you. And so I actually was able to do a study abroad to Europe. We went like everywhere, Rome North in Italy, and we went to like Nice and Normandy and Paris, France, and then we ended in the UK. And that was rough, man. That was like 2 months, and we were in a different country almost every 2 weeks and in a different town like every 2 to 3 days. Yeah, there's no way I could have done that too without like being on the Daily Essential Nutrients. But it was so worth it, and it was amazing getting to learn about these different cultures firsthand and to go to these museums and see all this artwork and all this culture and history and philosophy that like affects my day, like affects all of us to this day. So that was incredible. And then this past summer, I just got back from doing an internship in New Zealand. So my summer, their winter, so I've had a year of winter. But that was amazing too, and that was just such a good experience of being able to again live in a different country, and because I got to be there longer, I got to pick up on the nuances of like what's going on with like their social systems, culturally, but also like politically, and it's a lot to like adjust to a new country, a new culture, and I don't think emotionally I could have handled it if I was not on the den. There's so many new sights and sounds and smells and tastes, and
Do you have any last thoughts for anyone that is struggling, that might be looking at this and considering trying Daily Essential Nutrients versus other things out there?
There are a lot of ways that you can help your body heal. I'm always impressed at how our bodies really do know how to like repair itself, but we need to give it the right stuff to repair itself, right? And there are a lot of good things out there that can be helpful, but if you want something that's like long lasting and gets right to a lot of the problems in the brain and your nervous system and other things, then I really would recommend taking the Den, because it was meant for that. Again, I was like depressed and suicidal for 1.5 years of my life, and within a week I was like, I want to go to college and I want to make music and I want to paint again, and I felt alive, and nothing else had helped. And we had tried different things, we tried changing my diet up, we tried maybe doing some exercises and stuff, and none of that helped as much as taking the daily essential nutrients and just having and letting my brain get exactly what it needed to repair itself so that I could be happy and do all these amazing things with my life.